Hey, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of Internet Friends. The episode where we're all way too burnt out to talk about anything.
I'm hungover. You guys texted me really early this morning, and by really early I mean 8:30. And I was like, "What is going on?"
See, I try to figure out your guys' sleep schedules based on how you respond to my TikTok or Instagram messages. It's just like, okay, Bree's up normally pretty early because she'll.
Yes, I'm an early bird.
It's because she'll respond to the stuff I send her in the middle of the night, at 7:30, and then Seth, like you, it's just like, okay, I don't expect to hear back to him until 2 p.m. tomorrow. It's fine.
Accurate.
I have insomnia. How dare you?
I'm aware. I remember.
It's right.
Oh yeah. So yeah, been quite a long couple of weeks. I think I know on mine and Bree's end, work has basically just been trying to kill us, literally.
Yeah. I live there.
Yeah.
This is just where I have a bed sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. No, I shot a funeral yesterday, so that was weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not a typical gig I think a lot of photographers get. That's not usually something you want to remember.
No, and it was for video specifically, but even then, I explained to them when they contacted me. I was just like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Don't typically get asked to shoot a lot of funerals, and there might be some challenges and things, but
Was it a themed funeral? Did they have those black cat cutouts that you find at Halloween?
The person was from
Elvis
Ghana.
there?
No, Elvis was not there. The guy was from Ghana, and they have a certain kind of funeral culture kind of style.
Right.
To it. There was over 200 people there. They couldn't even fit everybody into the chapel where they were doing the ceremony. So it was a whole thing. But I was just like, all right, well, here's my rates. If you want to move forward with this,
If you pay me, I'll show up.
yeah, that's. Well, they haven't even paid me yet, but I did show up. Whether or not they get any footage back is dependent on if they pay me or not.
Oh, don't you love that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm being respectful in that they had enough stuff going on, being a funeral and whatnot. I'm not trying to I understand there's a lot of moving parts to this, but it's just don't expect me to give you anything until after.
More than fair.
There's something in my bank account.
Yeah.
But yeah, we actually moved our film schedule a day because of Bree's work thing, and I'm kind of just oh, thank God, because when I was done shooting, I was just I need to go home and take a nap.
Absolutely.
You guys would have kind of shell of a man if we had filmed yesterday.
Well, a little more of a shell than you usually are.
Right, I mean carved out, bone marrow and all.
You're like one of those canoes they just found.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways,
Okay, did you guys see that? Sorry. They found canoes in America that date back to the time of Stonehenge.
Oh, that's pretty
week.
fucking cool.
Yeah.
It's there was people here long before anybody else showed up or something.
I don't know. I think no one was here until those boats got here. But,
Yeah,
I'm talking about
Pretty sure.
Leif Erikson, not Columbus.
Oh yeah,
Erikson
I know.
was first.
We know which white culture got here first.
And it was mine.
Anyways.
Lord. Off to a roaring start.
Yeah, exactly. Again, going back to the theme, we are really burnt out, guys.
Yes,
Yeah.
we are so much so.
Yeah.
But Seth needs his therapy session, so we make the sacrifices.
Especially this week.
Speaking of therapy sessions, I made everybody play Breath of the Wild
Yes.
as our homework assignment. So, Breath of the Wild, I believe, came out in 2017. Is the year that
I think
came
so,
out?
yeah.
Yeah, it was a launch title for the Switch, but it also came out on the previous console. And so, I'm a big Zelda fan. I grew up with Legend of Zelda, especially growing up a Nintendo kid. And I have a lot of thoughts about it, but I'm going to go ahead and start by asking, how far did you guys get?
I got to the lion centaur with the electric arrows.
Oh, so the Lionel. Got it.
Yeah. I don't know how long that is. I played for probably 10, 15 hours, and that's as far as I got.
It depends on what you decide to do first, because you could. Again, that'll be another thing we discuss later. But like, Brie, I know you've been busy, so how was it for you?
Part of the reason I had to move this podcast because I was like, I do not have time to play this game, and also, where is my Switch? No one knows, so I had to locate my Switch. I then had to charge my Switch, make sure I could still hold a charge. Lots of prep work for this.
I'm so glad it wasn't just me, because I've had multiple issues with my Switch since giving this homework assignment. Starting with the fact that it is overheating when it's on dock TV mode.
Ooh.
But when I use the aftermarket dock that my sister gave me, it doesn't overheat because it's not encased in like the plastic dock piece. Also, my Joy-Con stopped working, so I couldn't play handheld. And so I went to go get new Joy-Cons, and why the fuck are Joy-Cons $80?
I don't know. It's because it's Nintendo. I said I don't know, but I do.
But
yes, we all know.
These are the shittiest, cheapest fucking controllers ever on the market.
You didn't even go with like a special color.
And these are my old broken ones. Like, they don't even turn on. Like, they started getting drift a while back, and like I didn't care enough to get it fixed. But like now they just straight up don't work. And so I straight up bought like, and then my Switch is over here, like these big Chungus aftermarket ones.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
That are like really huge and everything, but like they fit better ergonomically. The joysticks and controls are better, and it was half the cost of the Joy-Cons.
It looks like a Steam Deck. With
Kind
that on there.
Kind of. And so like, but like I'm just like sitting here, it's just like, why the fuck are they this expensive? Like, it was only like $300 for the Switch when I bought it initially. So you're saying that almost a third of the cost was literally like the cheapest pieces.
Well, it's that
on
HD
the entire
Rumble.
Thing.
Or whatever it's called on Switch. But you
just,
can feel the blocks of ice in the little cube game.
Yeah,
I don't know. I didn't get 1-2 Switch. I have the Lite. I can't use Joy-Cons.
Right.
Oh.
But no, so like that. So that was pretty much my experience. Was basically troubleshooting issues with my Switch to be able to play it.
Yeah, similar. I did only play the game for like 3 hours, which
So,
I'll
like,
get into a little bit, but I don't like it.
So 3 hours. So like you barely got past the tutorial.
I died a lot.
Thank you. I didn't realize Zelda's a Souls game. There were so many times I'm like, all right, good. I've got enough. I've got maxed out on weapons, maxed out on potions. Go into a fight, hit one-shotted, and I'm dead. What the fuck?
I fell off of things a lot because I thought that's where, like, I was like, oh, okay, I just need to go this way, and I was like, oh just kidding.
Same. I kept getting frustrating because I was like, I think I need to climb to get to where I need to go, and then right as I would get to a wall, it would start raining.
Yep.
100% that.
That torch mission where you gotta light all the torches in the town, it rained for 2 days straight in game while I was waiting to do that mission.
Yeah,
no.
that is honestly the worst. Like I understand why it's there, but the weather system definitely fucks you so often in that game. And it's always the moment it's just like, oh, I'm just gonna scale this cliff here, and like as soon as you show, it's just like, actually, it's gonna rain, and you're
Here I
not.
go.
And you're
And
basically
I'm falling.
that's basically just my bathroom break. I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna go
We
do
need a
other stuff
minute.
while I let time pass by. Hopefully, a blood moon doesn't go off in the meantime.
Oh, riveting gameplay. Letting it sit there while you do something else.
Yeah, they did try to do a quality of life improvement in Tears of the Kingdom, which I will rant about later. But
Okay.
but yeah, no, there's definitely a lot of things, and so it's good to hear that you guys both experienced the like difficulty of this game at the beginning, because that is definitely like first experience playing the game is just like, you know, you're used to like, oh, you know, just like progression of difficulty is like, no, like you are screwed at the beginning of the game. You do not have enough health to fight anything. You do not have any resources available to you. And as you progress through the game, it gets easier and you start learning the mechanics. But like starting off, it's just like you actually have to learn. It's like actually you should be avoiding fighting anything at the beginning of the game.
Yup.
Yeah,
should be-
I found that. Like,
It's like, you
towards
need
the
to
end
be-
of my playthrough, I was just like stealthy, going around everything I could.
You have to.
Exactly. Like it's just like one of those things where it's just like the game, and like it's different now for me because like when you have played, because this is I think my fourth playthrough of the game.
Okay.
So like I know exactly mechanically how everything works, and so I'm just like, oh, okay, I know exactly like the timings for all the enemies. I know like where like certain spots are, like certain groups of bad guys will be set up in a certain way. It's just like, okay, so if I throw this exploding barrel from this point here, it lands and it'll basically take out all of them except for their archer, and then I can just like one shot the archer. But like again, it doesn't tell you exactly how to do those things. You have to kind of
No.
just figure that out.
No
Similar to
hand
like
holding at all.
like you
No.
said, Seth, like it's almost a Souls-like.
It is. And like, and I was finding myself questioning, like, because it's so open world, I was like, am I even supposed to be over here yet, or do I need to go somewhere else and level up for a minute? And then no, that's where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah, and like it's the weird thing because like when this game came out, I was like very hesitant to actually even play it because it's just like as somebody who loves
Dogs.
the Zelda franchise, Fox. As somebody who loves the Zelda franchise, it being open world, having an inventory management system, basically all of your items are going to break eventually, so like nothing is like permanent or anything like that, and like it being just more or less like no hand holding whatsoever. It's just throwing you in and playing. Like I thought I was going to hate this game, but somehow it's also like one of my favorite games I've played in like 2 decades.
Huh.
And so the experience is just like kind of weird. It's like weird because like it takes all the elements in games that I don't like and somehow made me like them. And
Interesting.
Then I go and try and play those open world games, and I'm just kind of like, this sucks. I hate this. I don't want to do it. So it's like I don't know how they got the right mix of everything for it to work. And I think it's mostly just because like they do a good job of spacing everything out to where it's just like, okay, I got to get from this point to this point, and the things that I run into like are there, and I do them, but they don't take me so off course from where I'm trying to go. And I'm still getting to experience things as I go. And like if you want to get super into lore, you can get into lore. If you just want to like try and fight harder enemies, you can do that. Or if you're trying to just like speed through the story, you can do that. But it's done
Straight to
like,
Ganon,
very
right
fast.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can technically do that. You can
You
go
can.
straight to the castle. I don't recommend it, but there's like somebody on the internet somewhere who has done it, who has straight up done the like, I'm just gonna go straight to Hyrule Castle. I'm going to do the whole thing and then beat the game without having experienced anything else. Only 3 hearts and a little bit of extra stamina, and that's it.
And your panties, and you're good to go. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
beautiful.
So, Seth, as the person who has actually made some progress in the game at this point, do you think you're going to keep playing it, or do you think that you're just kind of like, I'm done?
I'm done.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, but I got so frustrated playing this. I didn't like it. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Totally fine.
But yeah, it was. This is the most frustrated I've been playing a video game in a long time, and it's just But I get that like I'm the problem. Like,
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a whole culture now in gaming where, like, you use the Dark Souls comparison, right? Like, the Souls-like thing. I'm not a Souls-like person. I do, like, the idea of having a game that is objectively hard for the sake of being hard, like, just is like, no. I want a game that, like, I feel like as soon as I know what I'm doing, I can just progress through it and not have it just be like, you're just going to get your ass kicked for, like, 30-plus hours. And you're gonna like it. Like, it's just like, that's not what I typically like. But I think the difference is there is a point in Breath of the Wild that you get to where you go from everything is way too hard to you are now super OP.
okay.
And so once you get to the point where you're super OP, that's when it like starts to open up a lot more.
If you play the first 10 hours, then it gets good.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a hard sell for people. And like
That is.
somebody was having I was watching some other podcasts last week and they actually had this conversation about like trying to convince somebody. It's just like, hey, you should really play this game. The first 10 to 40 hours, it's like kind of a grind, but once you get past that 40 hours, it's just like, oh yeah, it's awesome. It's just like that's a long time commitment.
Yep.
I mean,
a lot of investment.
Like when you tell it's just like, yeah, the first couple of seasons of the show aren't very good, but like once you get to season 3, like it's just like, okay, that's maybe like, however
But
many
can I just skip to season 3? No, it's actually really important for payoffs in season 4
Yeah.
if you watch season 1 and 2.
Like, and
Yeah.
But I got the opportunity of assigning homework, so basically I forced you guys to do it.
Yeah.
Again, I do not blame you guys for not wanting to continue, because especially if you don't have a connection to the Zelda franchise, like it's a very hard ask.
Well, and this is something I'm experiencing just with Nintendo in general, is that outside of Pokemon and GoldenEye, I didn't grow up with Nintendo.
Right.
So really having my Switch is the first time I'm getting to experience Mario and, Luigi and Zelda and like all of these games. And I'm finding that I just don't like Nintendo games. There's just something about them I'm not big on.
And like, in fairness, modern Nintendo games are very in this kind of weird thing because they've iterated on them so much over the years, to where it's like if you compare like even Mario 64 to I think the last like 3D Mario they had was Odyssey, if I remember correctly.
I think so, yeah.
Like those are two completely different games with different style. Like Breath of the Wild was a very big departure from how Zeldas have traditionally been.
Oh, okay.
But like, yeah, just like that entire like kind of changeover is just like, they're dipping into more modern style of games, and some people don't necessarily not like modern games. We talked about this the other day or last week with BioShock. BioShock's a very linear story. Like it starts, it goes, and you basically just kind of follow along the path. Yeah, there's certain like kind of things you can explore, but it's very on rails. It's a very linear experience. You play for about 12 hours and you're done. Now games are just like, we need you to sink 300 hours into this.
Yes.
In order for it to feel like it's worth it. And like some people like that. Like I loved Baldur's Gate. But, it's kind of hard ask for somebody to be like, it's just like, oh yeah, here's the next 400 hours of your life. Have fun. Like, that's a lot to ask for a lot of
time
people.
when people don't have a lot of time in general. So
Yeah, exactly. And like, it's one of those things like when I see like streamers who like play a million different games a year, I'm just like, how do you have any time for any of this? And I was like, oh, you're trying to make this your full-time job.
yes.
Yep.
And I'm just like, good for you. Good. Like if that's working out for you, great. But like most people working 9 to 5s or even like just like 40-hour work week, regardless of your shift, like having time to play video games and sink that much time into it, that's a big time suck.
Yeah. Especially when you're exhausted. So,
Yeah.
and you have to be like fully invested. I feel like, well, it's funny because I'm like, I think I actually might continue this game, to be honest. And very similar to Seth, like I have 4 siblings. I'm the youngest daughter. So it's just like, I never had my own consoles growing up. I had whatever my siblings had whenever I got to use that console.
Right, whenever
Nintendo.
it was your turn.
Correct. Which is like, yes. And I think all we had growing up was like I grew up Sega Genesis, like that was my console, and then like an N64 at some point. So like I had very limited really, I think that's the only one we had, and I barely played that. So I have no attachment to Nintendo in general, and I do think a lot of the appeal is people's nostalgia for it. I have to think that's a gigantic factor. But
I'll still go back and play Ocarina of Time like all the time. Like I realize I am the nostalgia kid for Nintendo.
Absolutely. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I think as somebody kind of newer to Nintendo, like, again, Pokemon games are fucking shit, but I love them so much.
Yeah. No, we've all been gaslit by Pokemon. We all know how that model works.
Yeah, but I mean, that's also nostalgia though, because I'm just like, I feel like a kid when I play that game, like in the best way. I am just like, I'm having a picnic with my Pokemon. This is so fun. But yeah, it's like, it's a terrible game. It looks like absolute trash. But so I really have no attachment. Yeah.
I was going to just say that this game does look beautiful. Like,
yes, exactly. Like there's a lot of detail. Like the environment is stunning. Even just like the opening shot where you're like walking in, you're just seeing everything. Like it's stunning. But I don't have attachment to Zelda like as a series by any means. And for this to be my first Zelda game is like very like I was like there is so much going on. There's so many. It's I was just on a podcast where we were talking about a game called Luna's Fishing Garden where you got to like fish and like hang out with your animal friends, and it was like the most simple game on the planet. And then I go to Breath of the Wild where there's so many fucking mechanics and there's so much to learn. I was like, I'm overwhelmed. But I will say, like when I first got to like I was playing last night and I was like waiting for my Audible to kick in, and I like got to a temple and I saw like the setup for the puzzle and I said immediately, no, I'm not doing this anymore. So I turned it off, but I opened it today and I was like, oh, this puzzle's actually not as hard as I thought it was. And I was able to complete it. Yeah. It was easy peasy. I think if I had more time and more energy, I think I would like this game eventually. I think it's just not the right time for me right now because I need the time and mental fortitude to like have all the mechanics memorized and things like that. Like it seems like a lot of fun, and I feel like so many people play this game so differently, and I love when people can have so many different experiences with the game. So I think again, and so no one ever gets mad at me or Seth, I do not think this is a bad game by any means. I just think it maybe is not the right game for me, especially not right now.
I was actually curious about
that's what I was trying to like imply there is that like I get that I'm the problem. It's just not a game that I like. It's a good game. Like I recognize that it's a very well made game.
Like, I was actually going to ask because there's so many things going on in this game. There's so many different elements. The thing that I thought, Seth, you were going to like was the shrines because I knew you were such a Portal kid, hence the shirt you're wearing today.
Yeah.
Seth was a Portal kid, so like the puzzle aspect to it, I was just like, I wonder how, Seth, you've kind of felt about like the mini dungeon style of that. Yeah, I saw it too. It wasn't just you.
You glitched out there for a second. Sorry.
You glitched out on my side, so.
Yeah, I liked the puzzles. I liked the puzzles, but it did get to a point where I was like, how many of these do I need to keep doing? Because I did find myself investing a lot of time in some of them, especially the ones where you have to like
those
do
ones
this
are the
with
worst.
your Switch to get the ball to go.
The
I
gyro.
spent like an hour on one of those. And
the gyro motion controls are genuinely the worst, and because this was technically a Switch launch title, they had to like make that a thing.
Right.
Yeah. But overall, yeah, I did enjoy most of the puzzles I dealt with, and I did have to keep reminding myself what all of the like power ups that my little Sheikah Slate does do. Yeah. Be like, oh wait. I'm supposed to magnet this, not time freeze and whap it a bunch of times.
I thought that was kind of like the interesting thing to, again, going back to things that they've done so differently from past Zelda games, because in past Zelda games, like, your tools and skills and stuff, like, you have to progress, you have to do kind of a bunch of stuff before you get, like, you know, getting the bombs. It's like, okay, I have the bombs now I can use the bombs to get to certain places I couldn't before. This game gives you literally everything at the beginning in terms of like, all right, here's all your Sheikah Slate powers, here's all the things that you need. So like, you have your bombs, you have your magnet ability, everything, go. And like, that's kind of like one of the more interesting things. Like, more going back to like, it's just like, hey, like as soon as you're done with the plateau and have the glider, you can go straight to Ganon if you want to.
Well, in this game, it does that intentionally because it wants you to be the explorer. It wants you to invest yourself in this world however you want.
Yeah, and that's and again, going back to somebody who's never really been a huge open world game fan, like it's just like I was not expecting myself to get so immersed in it, and like it was kind of interesting because I've pretty much only ever played this exclusively docked and on a TV, and so I was very curious. Like I did spend some time playing handheld on it because like I didn't spend a whole lot of time doing that, and like I was just like, wow, this actually does still look pretty good on the handheld version. So like so I was kind of curious about like how that would affect your experience, Seth, since you have the Switch Lite.
We really do take for granted how powerful these things are, and that a game that looks that good, that is that big, fits on a cartridge like that. You know? It's impressive, and handheld, it was really cool to be able to play it.
Look, we can give Nintendo a lot of shit for a lot of things. Corporations aren't your friends, kids. Just remember that.
They don't care about you. They never did.
But they are people.
Number go up.
according to the Supreme Court, who we totally agree with.
Oh yes, we abide by everything that those people say and do.
But regardless, the thing that they do very well is like, one, they don't get caught up in the like, let's make this the most powerful console ever. It's like, no, it's going to be more or less an Xbox 360 that's portable, which, you know,
which is still very impressive for
Absolutely.
2017 when it came out.
Very impressive. And instead of like trying to push the envelope in what we can do graphically, instead we're going to use good art direction to specifically do the visual language of this game, because again, like, there's a lot of cell shading going on, like things aren't necessarily super like high resolution textures, but the way that they put everything together and present everything is just like, it's so, I always find, especially when like I'm running through Hyrule Field or like in different areas, I'm always like adjusting my camera to where I could see what's on the horizon, because there's always just so much to look at. And it just creates that incredible cinematic feel. And so that's always been probably the most impressive thing about this game.
I was looking at the ground for mushrooms everywhere I went.
Yeah.
yeah, the beautiful sky, everything, mushrooms.
Yeah.
Just looking at his feet the whole time.
He's like, I don't want to kill foxes for food, so I'm just going all mushrooms, all vegetarian run.
That's the way to go.
I will say, at one point when I got frustrated, I was like, you know what, fuck this fox. And I shot it.
I'm not allowed to kill the foxes when Emily's in the room, so she gets very upset with me.
You know what, on second thought, maybe I did enjoy this game. I don't know, now that we're talking about it.
No, like you said, it's a good game, but it's also one of those things where it's just like, are you really going to dedicate your free time to something that's going to frustrate you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I'm at the point now where it's just
Cuphead,
like,
so I have done it before.
yeah, like, I know you have some masochism in there. We know this.
Some.
Let's unpack that today on today's episode.
So in today's episode, Seth, so why do you love to hurt yourself?
Because I feel, I can't really feel much of anything else anymore.
So, kind of an interesting thing I want to piggyback off of this, though. Nintendo has announced, quote unquote, that the Switch 2, quote unquote, I don't think that's their words.
Probably not. They've never used 2 before in their life.
No, it is on the horizon. So my question is, what do we think the Switch, the follow-up to the Switch is going to be?
I mean, it's probably a pretty safe bet if they're going to keep the like portable and docked thing. That it's just going to be a more powerful version of what we already have, and it's going to be like a PlayStation 4 in a portable console.
Yeah, the only thing that like makes me nod my head is like Nintendo's always been approaching, or at least since I want to say the Wii, has always like consistently just been like, we need to add some level of novelty every single time.
Yeah,
that is true.
Because they went
but
from
the Wii U was such a bad thing for them. That's why I wonder if they like would want to keep it just super safe for this next one.
Yeah, but
that's
like going
a really
from
good point.
Going from the Wii to the Wii U, like more or less they kind of like, basically the Wii U was basically, I think, the middle iteration of the Switch, because you got the like handheld thing that you technically could use, and they were trying to make it also like a 3DS, where like you have your TV as your top screen, and then your like tablet screen was just like inventory management or touch controls or whatever else.
Yeah.
So the Switch ended up, blowing up in the way that it was. I honestly do think like the smart direction would just be like, take the Switch, make it more powerful, make the screen higher resolution, and maybe don't make the Joy-Cons shit.
That'd be nice.
But I highly doubt they'll do that. Because, yeah, just like... But the main thing is like Nintendo has to hit like a specific price point, because they are supplemental consoles. Like they're more, because they are more or less expecting you to already have a PS5 or a PC or an Xbox, and like basically it's just like, okay, here's like a $350 thing that runs Nintendo games.
Mhm.
and it's also portable, and so like it's like kind of supplements to like your other gaming habits that you might have. And so I don't know how necessarily they make a more powerful version of the Switch without hitting that price point, especially with how inflation's been lately.
Oh yeah.
Well, maybe they'll get rid of the infrared light at the bottom of one of the Joy-Cons. Maybe that'll get that price down.
Honestly, like, just make me feel like paying $80 for it is worth it. You know, maybe just better joysticks or something.
I'd be happy with that.
You know,
I won't
just
buy
like,
it, but
Yeah.
I don't carry
I'm really glad they made these changes. I'm not going to buy it, but I'm glad they changed these things.
but I mean, that's also the annoying thing, though, is that like why are aftermarket accessories for this better than like the actual stuff that ships?
Mm-hmm.
Like that. Like,
why are the dongles that other companies make better than the ones Apple makes?
well, because it's Apple.
True. True.
You know.
but like that because it used to be like buying a third-party controller. Like it's just like, this is the crappy controller. I bring my
Yeah, you
my
get Mad
friend
Cats.
who comes over. Yeah, it's like, yeah, you get Mad Cats. Now I'm just kind of like, I have a Gully Kit as my console controller for when it's docked, and like that has Hall effects joystick, so it doesn't get stick drift. The triggers are better, the buttons are better. It's a better quality controller, and it's cheaper than the Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
Fucked up.
Just, I don't understand it. Well, I do understand it, you know, margins, but
Number go up. That's all they care about.
Number
I
go
go
up.
up. Capitalism. Yay,
That's
we
the
did it, guys.
catchphrase of this podcast, I think. It's just number go up.
Number go up.
So, like, we need a number go up counter. We need a Seth's trauma counter. We need a Brie quitting counter.
Absolutely. Perfect.
We need
We're
a
gonna need to
Theo
hire
shows
on
his
a whole
butt.
producer just to keep track of those.
Yes.
Emily? Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. So, anyways, sorry for forcing you guys to play Breath of the Wild.
You're good. You're
Yeah,
good.
it's been on my list for forever. Like I liked having a reason to play it, and again, I definitely want to play it in the future, just not when I'm working
Yeah,
92 hours a pay period. So
you want to be able to play it when it's not a homework assignment. Trust me, I get that.
yes.
Anyways, so there's other stuff that's been happening in the nerd world lately. Brie is basically getting a producer credit for this show because she pretty much did the entire doc this week. So Deadpool and Wolverine is going to be coming out relatively soon, and they released, I think it was last week is when this released, was their promotional popcorn bucket that's going to be in theaters. And it's
was
exactly
after
what a
Memorial
Deadpool
Day.
would do.
Yep. It was after Memorial Day because they weren't selling them at AMC when I went to see Furiosa.
Oh,
So-
I forgot that movie goes out.
Yeah, it's good.
That's what I've been
But
hearing.
Deadpool.
But Deadpool.
So who are you gonna fuck the bucket though?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's a
Why
big
else
hole.
get it?
It's a big hole. I get it. Well, they saw all the complaints with the Dune one.
Well,
They were
honestly,
like-
the Dune one looks like a legit sex toy. This one, like, is definitely full novelty leaning into it.
Looking up Dune popcorn bucket.
Are you unaware of this?
I am very aware of this.
Oh, it was
I'm
a
looking it up
huge
right now.
thing.
We're gonna see a live reaction right now.
Oh no. Oh yeah, it came up right away. Images. Safe
It's got those
search.
little bristles. For your
Oh. How did this get this far into the box?
right.
Here's the thing.
crazy.
As somebody who has worked in marketing long enough, I'm just kind of like, how do I get into one of these marketing departments where they're clearly not checking what we're doing? Because
Yeah,
I've worked at so many like departments where it's just like, I have to get like CEO level approval before anything goes out, and then I see that the Dune popcorn bucket. I'm just like, what company do I need to be working for?
But they're like, yeah, put it to yeah.
Yeah, whatever, do it.
Produce it, I don't care.
Ah.
It's like money, number go up.
That's This is astounding. I can't believe I haven't seen this till now because I'm just like at least the Wolverine one's hilarious, but like no one's probably gonna put their dick in that. I can't guarantee that, but it would be difficult.
I'm putting my dick in
Someone
it.
is fucking
Someone's
this
definitely
fucking
gonna put their dick in that.
Tell you what, after Deadpool and Wolverine come out, I will give you guys a full dick in review of the Wolverine popcorn bucket.
Dick in review.
And that's going to be a short.
Oh my fucking god.
Actually, Dicks Out Reviews would be a really good YouTube channel name.
Absolutely. It could not happen, but I think that's
No, it
I
would
said
get pulled
dick.
immediately.
I was about to say Dick In is what the review site, Dick In review.
Oh man.
Oh.
Wow, that's hilarious.
But
I'm
that's
going
why
down for that joke.
this the Wolverine popcorn bucket exists, is because after the Dune one came out, Ryan Reynolds made a joke about how they were going to have Deadpool and Wolverine popcorn buckets that were just the mouth. And then that got
That's
approved,
funny.
and here it is.
That's great. That's hilarious. Like
Well,
that's
in fair-
honestly so smart.
In fairness, I think when it comes to Deadpool stuff, I think they let Ryan Reynolds run the marketing department on those movies.
Probably.
This is hilarious. The video, I don't know if you saw the video like for this bucket, but it's very funny too. So
Oh yeah, Emily sent
No,
it
I
to
didn't
me.
see the video.
yeah, I mean it's exactly what you think it is. Just like, you know,
Yeah,
butter pouring down.
yeah, they do like the butter and like kind of thing. They lean in.
Okay.
They knew what they were doing.
Absolutely.
All right. So yeah, so is that justification enough to go see Deadpool and Wolverine?
I don't know how many cameos are in it, because it better be a lot.
Well, I think one of the shots
There are going to be
that
some
they...
cameos in that bucket. Cut that
Hey.
joke.
Stop telling me to
No.
cut jokes. You know I'm not going to do it.
We don't edit this show.
But no, like one of the shots in the trailer, they showed like people standing around like a dead Ant-Man when you know, he's in giant form, and like it's just like that's Lady Deathstrike, that's Toad, that's whoever, and they're all like their original like designs from the movies that they were in the X-Men universe. So there's going to be a lot of cameos, I'm sure.
Okay.
So
I haven't seen any of the movies, to be honest with you. Are they good?
I like
if
the
you're
first
if you're a Deadpool fan, yes. If you're not really a Deadpool fan, that's kind of your call.
I think that applies more to the second one, because the first one functions more as a hard parody of the genre.
Yeah, but that's kind of like what the essence of Deadpool originally was.
True.
Now it's like, you know, Ryan Reynolds self-aware humor stuff, which is also all well and good. But yeah, I agree. The second movie is definitely more like, if you were not like a 90s comic book fan, like maybe skip it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you're a fan of Deadpool and how they approach the genre and parody and, you know, fourth wall breaking self-awareness and also being a little on the raunchier side, then yeah, sure. They also can be very violent, and that plays a factor too.
Okay, good to know.
So yeah,
Maybe.
so I'll see it, and I will, you know, have a review of the bucket once it's time.
I actually did like go around looking for like what commemorative buckets are out right now, and was very disappointed that the Deadpool ones weren't there.
Oh.
This actually kind of leads to our next topic. Brie also included this in, and it's talking about Pixar president wants to stop having full-length movies go straight to Disney Plus and have it just be shorts and series. And I think a big part of this is that, let's be fair, the theater-going experience is not what it was pre-COVID.
No.
And I think that's a very big issue kind of in the entertainment industry right now.
It's much more expensive.
Yeah.
And you have to really choose what movies you go see now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I got a hot dog. It was like $12 for a
my
shitty
God.
gas station hot dog.
Yeah, no. But no, like, it is kind of one of the things, because obviously COVID screwed up, you know, a lot of stuff going on in the movie, and, like, a lot of companies started moving. It's just like, all right, we're just going to put everything day one on streaming, so that way we can at least start putting these stuff out. And then as time went on, they were just like, okay, well, now we're not getting that initial influx of money from things going to box office right away. And, you know, it's just like part of the problem with these streaming platforms.
You're not getting that second life on DVD.
Yeah, you're not
even
getting...
if a movie didn't do well, you could make that money back still.
And, you know, like, obviously during COVID, their thoughts were, it's just like, okay, but if we could start getting people in on the streaming service, we'll at least have revenue coming in the short term. But now they're dealing with the Netflix problem where it's just like, okay, everybody's already here. And so, like, even if we have a successful show, if those people already had Netflix previously, we didn't technically make any more money that we could have. Like, movies going to the theater first is like the big influx of money that you need to get. But even now, like, theaters have gotten smaller. Me and my wife went to the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare a few weeks back, the Guy Ritchie film with Henry Cavill in it. Yeah, it's good. It's fun.
I love the real life story.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. The pacing's a little off in the second act, but like for the most part.
Did they keep the quote in where Roald Dahl is like, "You got to call me back to the U.S. This woman keeps fucking me from one end of the room to the other. I can't keep sleeping with this woman."
No, they did not do that.
They didn't keep that in? Okay,
Aww.
So Roald Dahl, his job in the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Conduct was to come to America and have influence over senators and try and get separationists into World War II by sleeping with their wives and convincing the wife to talk to the senator for them.
Wow.
And he was like, yeah, Roald Dahl, BFG looking motherfucker, is doing this. But at one point he called and he's like, "You got to get me back. This one woman will not leave me alone."
No, this film focuses on their one operation that they had basically off the coast of Africa, where basically they were cutting off the supply to the U-boats that were basically blocking the entire Atlantic. So that once the U-boats...
So a very serious mission is what they did for this one, not the silly stuff I know about.
Yeah, they definitely went silly with it, and like it was definitely like a movie. I think the pitch to Henry Cavill was like, hey, how would you feel about doing a movie where basically you just mow down Nazis with a machine gun, and you don't have to be the eye candy, because we have Alan Ritchson, who are going to have to do all like the physical, like hand-to-hand fighting stuff and showing off all his muscles, so you don't have to like do any heavy lifting. He's just like, all right, I'm in.
Let's go.
And of course, like, Henry Cavill and Guy Ritchie both just really want to be making Bond movies, and they won't let them, so this is the closest they can get.
Well, that whole ministry was the basis for the original Bond novels.
Yeah, no, it was. I believe, like, even, who was the original author? Doyle? No.
Fuck, what is his name?
But the original author for, like, the James Bond novels, like, he was part of this whole thing. And,
yeah, he was.
Yeah, and, like, a lot of inspiration came from this, and, like, basically it was the start. It's a fun movie. I'm not saying it's a masterpiece, but it's a fun movie to watch. Yeah, Ian Fleming, that's it. Yeah, he was a part of that. And so, it was opening weekend. It was being shown in the smallest theater room they had, and, like, we only had, like, maybe 2 rows of people total in the theater watching it.
For Furiosa, I went on Memorial Day to an IMAX screening, and it wasn't full.
Yeah.
Of course.
And, like, it used to be where it's just, like, if it's opening weekend for anything that has any level of hype behind it, that's gonna, like, theaters are gonna sell out, but that just doesn't happen anymore.
No. And to bring it back to Pixar specifically, Disney does have a history of completely fucking over this studio. Yes. Like, they force them to make bad sequels, and then they put everything on streaming service to a point where, like, you can't differentiate between the new Pixar movie and just a regular animated thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't like how they've treated Pixar.
No. It's definitely been rough, at least especially in the last decade or so. And you're right, like, now differentiating, like, the Disney animation from the Pixar animations is, like, they're almost indistinguishable, and just, like, yeah, it seems like a lot of creativity has been sucked out of Pixar at this point. And, you know, obviously they've had plenty of shakeups. They had that one person who's been there forever who got, you know, canceled, rightfully so. But, like, just, like, one of those things where it's just, like, oof. Not having a good go of it.
Yeah, I was gonna, I feel
More
like this.
more popcorn buckets. That's what we need.
Yes, exactly. That's the problem. More sex
I
toys
should
is
be
what we need.
I should be ripping Wally's head off to get at some delicious popcorn.
Oh, Wally. No.
I tried to watch Wally literally after finishing The Dark Knight. Like
Oh, really?
me and my sister were trying to theater hop and trying to go from watching The Dark Knight to try and go watch Wally. It was just like, my headspace is not in this. I'm leaving.
It's a very slow movie. It's a great movie, but slow. I was gonna say, I feel like this makes the most sense because I'm just like, I feel like in this late stage capitalism hellscape that we live in, I don't think I could usually regularly, and I think most people can justify the price of going to the movies because already the ticket price is pretty high, and then if you want any snacks, which of course you do because that's like part of the experience, like that's anywhere from like probably like $30 to like $50 for like a single, and that's not even, it's not a meal, so you have to do something else afterwards. Like that's a pretty expensive evening, especially if you have kids, or if you're going with a group of people. That's a lot of money up front. But I'm interested with Pixar because it's for kids. Like that's kind of a guaranteed market for them. Like if a kid wants to go see a movie, you're gonna take your fucking kid to see a movie.
You're guaranteed to get the kids ticket, and you're gonna have to get the parents ticket too. That's why kids movies have always been like a guaranteed success in Hollywood. Is because it's just like you're guaranteed the ticket sales always.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's been a huge hit to their income. I like, especially because I feel like even now, like honestly, I love going to the movies. I would go more often if A, I could afford it, and B, if any of my friends enjoy going to the movies. None of them do, because if I'm interested in a movie, they'll be like, oh, when's it on streaming, and then we'll watch it then, and I'm like, oh, okay. So like that's the default now, and I'm like, that's fine, I guess.
No, I love going to movies as well. It's one of my favorite things. Like, as my whole family loves movies, so like every weekend when I was a kid, we were at the theater.
Yeah.
Because it used to be cheap.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now it's expensive, and like I go to maybe 2 movies a year now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean,
and the rest of it is piracy.
I probably have only been to the theater like 5 times since COVID. You know,
I think it's one time for me, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, I saw Top Gun.
but like that's the thing.
You just had to get in and see that propaganda. You couldn't wait streaming on.
It's just like gotta watch Tom Cruise make more money. To give
as a red-blooded American.
But like I think the fact that it's getting more expensive and the overall experience of going to the theater is diminishing because it's like part of going to go see Marvel movies was the fact that it's just like, dude, you're guaranteed to have a full theater and it's going to be a fun crowd.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, nope, you're not guaranteed. Like you're going to go and it's not going to be that many people, and it's kind of just be like, the concessions have gotten crappier. Like, don't pay $12 for a hot dog ever in your life, kids. Don't be like Seth.
You heard it here first.
That's not the worst decision I made this week. Like,
top 10 for sure, but
but not the worst.
Oof. Yeah.
Excellent.
So, yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Well, in terms of movies that are coming out, what do you guys think of the new Beetlejuice trailer?
Okay. Loved it, except for I am sick of this trend of taking a happy song from the past and having a kids choir sing it creepily. I'm really sick of that trend.
Or having a 20-something-year-old female singer who is just going to do a low monotone version of it. Like there was something recently.
Yeah, there was that recently. But the rest of the trailer looks great. I love Beetlejuice.
Oh yeah, no, it's the first hey, we're doing the sequel of a movie that came out almost 40 years ago that I was just like, oh, they're actually doing something good with it, or it actually looks good.
Yeah. No, it does look fun. There was something I was gonna say, and then you said that movie came out almost 40 years ago, and I realized how old I am.
Is that real? Is that for real?
It's probably close
it came out in 87.
Oh fuck! Wow.
It's getting there.
We're ancient.
We are.
By we, I mean me.
Yep.
You're what, a year older than Aaron and I?
I'm going to be 34 tomorrow, in fact. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's 2 or 3 years.
So 2 years. What was the
practically dead?
Make, though?
1 foot in the grave.
Yeah, exactly. I'm excited for it, but I'm like, have fond memories of Beetlejuice. And actually, I just saw the I don't know if any of you have had the pleasure of seeing like the theater production of Beetlejuice, but it's actually really fucking good. I wasn't sure how like hokey it would be, but they kind of just like reimagined the first movie in theater form, so they changed some things, but it was very entertaining, really, really fun. Yeah, I think this will be fun. You know, I'll wait till it gets on streaming for sure, though.
Yeah, yeah, this isn't one I'm gonna pay for.
I think the fact that they have the pretty much majority of the original cast, or at least the original cast that matters, like,
yes.
makes it an easier
Well,
sell.
They've got the original cast except the child molester.
Right. Which is what I was implying.
Yeah. Who? It's Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin. They're not coming back.
That's
At least
right.
They're not in the trailer.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, Alec Baldwin's dealing with legal troubles.
Is he? I haven't been following that.
Shooting the photographer.
That's right. He
on
killed
set.
someone.
Yeah.
I forgot that was Alec.
Why do you
I thought that
forget
was
when
his
we
brother.
kill people?
What?
Why do you keep on forgetting people dying?
Dude, there's a lot going on in my life. I can't focus on people dying right now. I'm dealing with people being born. I don't got to deal with people dying. But Gina Davis is great. She's still working, isn't she? I loved her in Cutthroat Island. That is a horny fucking movie.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm the
if there's
only one who likes it too.
I
No
wouldn't be
one likes
I think
Cutthroat
you
Island.
are.
I think there's potential for a cameo, and obviously, like, if they are keeping it hush hush until you actually see the movie, I'm okay with that, because trailers have been very bad at basically like, here's the entire movie for the most part. Decide if you want to see the other 2 hours, which is just the same thing.
Yeah. Which is, I have gotten to a point where I stop watching trailers. I'll see the first one or the teaser, and then I avoid everything until I see the movie.
Yeah, no.
That's
After I see like the first trailer, it's just like, okay, I'm not going to be looking for another trailer for this movie until then. Oy.
Which has also made me forget that movies come out. So I'll be
Absolutely.
like,
Yeah.
oh,
And
that's out
another-
now? Oh, shit. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been
another-
out for 6 months? Okay.
Yeah, no, that's another problem.
It's
is that,
BoJack
like,
effect.
yeah, well, like, that's another problem, too, with the whole thing. It's just, like, a new whatever film comes out, and you're just like, oh, they're still making those? What's happening?
They're still making movies? Huh.
Uh,
Sorry, I closed
That's
my
exciting.
window for a second. Yeah. It's weird seeing Winona Ryder just be the exact character she played when she was like 15. Like all the
Yes.
mannerisms and everything the same.
Yep.
It's a bit odd.
I mean, it's Winona Ryder. Like, she kind of... She knows what she's doing.
She does. I'm just really glad they're not going with the Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian sequel that was floating around Hollywood for a long time.
Yeah, I don't see how they could ever make that work.
No.
A direct-to-DVD sequel, maybe.
Yes, strictly.
But I think Michael Keaton finally got past being on direct-to-DVD sequels eventually.
I love Michael Keaton. I really
Oh, yeah,
do.
no, he's great.
Who doesn't? He's great.
Wait. So, yeah, so that's going on. There was also some casting news for the next Knives Out movie, which, the Knives Out series has been very, very, very good for the most part,
I love both of them.
Yeah,
They're both
so
good. Which one do you like better, though? It's a hot debate.
I like the
I-
first
you know-
one better, if I'm being completely honest.
For me,
I like the second one better.
I was going to say I think I like the second one better, but recency bias plays into that. I watched Glass Onion a lot more recently than I watched Knives Out. And I had Knives Out spoiled for me.
Oh, that's
Okay.
sad.
I watched them back to back recently. Actually, wasn't the first time I saw Knives Out, but I watched them back to back, and yeah, I would still say the first one. I think I just like the pacing better of the first one.
Okay.
The commentary of the second one was not nearly as. I found the second one to be a little bit more predictable.
Oh, that's
interesting.
interesting. Because I feel kind of the opposite, to be honest. Because I'm like, same thing. I really recently, I think in February, I watched both of them back to back. And it's funny because everyone told me, they're like, oh yeah, don't be disappointed by the second one because the first one's so much better. And I was like, I don't feel that way at all. And I think it's mostly because like in the first one, they give away what happens really early in
Yeah.
it, and then you're just kind of watching that play out. Whereas the second one, they held on to that information a little longer, which
Yeah.
kept me interested. Like, not that the first one was bad by any means; they're both great films. But I think the second one just like I was a little more like where I was like, shit, what is going on here? And also the casting was really great for both films, to be honest. But
Yeah.
the second one's a little more fun for me.
No, but yeah, no, I agree, and I think the more or less I think it's because it was a more traditionally like kind of like spaced out movie in the second one,
Yeah.
whereas the first one was like we're gonna tell you exactly what happened, but then the details in between are the things that
Yes. Mm-hmm.
really tell the whole story. Like knowing how the person died is only part of the scenario.
Yes, exactly.
The second one is much more of a whodunit, whereas the first one kind of straddles the line of whodunit and how catch 'em.
Yeah, and I
Yes.
think that's why I like the first one more.
I get that. I honestly, they're both great, and I'm excited they're making more of them. I'm hoping it just keeps going. Like obviously it's gonna peter out at some point, but I have high expectations. I'm just like the two are good. I'm sure the third one will be good as well. I'm excited for it.
As long
I
as
could
they,
watch Daniel Craig in this role forever.
yeah.
Yes, I agree. So fun.
Yeah, he's definitely having way more fun with this than he ever did with Bond. That's
Oh yeah, he
Like,
doesn't
this
have to
is-
get jacked for this.
yeah, like it's just like so. Let me get this straight. I just have to wear a fairly flamboyant suit and just speak with a southern accent, and like that's basically all I have to do for these movies. It's like yeah, for the most part, it's like great. I'll sign for 10 more.
Can I do an accent that's like a mix of Colonel Sanders and Mo Rutherford? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
Because I'm gonna. So
I think as long as like they keep the cadence of releases for this series of movies to like don't just release a new one every year. Like let
Yes.
them all have a certain amount of breathing room. Let us miss and reminisce about the movies a little bit before you throw it out there.
100%. Yeah.
So as long as they keep that cadence, I think it'll be fine.
Yeah.
No, I want yearly releases. Let's Assassin's Creed this shit.
Yeah,
That's
because that
perfect.
worked out
That
so
was
well for
great,
that franchise. Oh, did we ever talk about the most recent Assassin's Creed controversy last week?
Oh, that
we
there's a
did
black
not.
guy in it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That's not historically accurate. I hate it here.
And then everybody's like, actually, it is.
It is
It
very
actually is
historically
historically accurate. Congratulations, you played yourself racist.
Also, there's goofy shit in those games all the time because I feel like I keep hearing those points, and then there's like the Pope fight in one of the first games where it's just like it's a super powered Pope. I was like, oh yeah, is this fucking historically accurate?
Yeah, they had the one in ancient Egypt where you fight the crocodile god of the Nile.
That's how it happened, Aaron.
Like, it's like yes, the game series where I'm very worried about it is Assassin's Creed being historically accurate.
Absolutely.
And then of course it's just like actually that is historically accurate. You're all just racist. Congratulations.
Just say you're racist. That's all there's to
Yeah,
it.
it's so much easier.
It's like look, let's just say the quiet part out loud, guys.
You're already doing it.
So fun.
And the thing that sucks is that they think they're being subtle.
Yeah, no, it's
100%.
just like I feel like they're just pandering. It's just like no.
That is what they always fucking say.
It's always pandering. So this is a topic we're going to get into in a second, but when you sent that TikTok this morning, when I opened it and saw that it was Warhammer, I was like, this is either going to be the studio has been mistreating their employees or there's girls in this now. And surprise!
It's the two paths.
I mean, the former could still be true.
Very true.
The latter was
Good
just the
time.
topic of the video.
Yeah.
Uh,
Nerd culture.
Yeah, if we want to get into that, I guess I can like briefly. I will say just before we talk about this, I know we mentioned this kind of at the top of the show, but I don't know a ton about Warhammer 40K. It's one of those things.
Brie,
like,
we've
I-
established you don't have money. It's fine.
100%. I don't have money or that kind of fucking time. So, but to my understanding, it's very D&D adjacent, where it's just like super deep nerd culture. But I know with this one, you buy little models and things like that, and people are hardcore into this game. It is their life's work. They spend so much money on these fucking models, which by all means, honestly, if that makes you happy, cool. The
Yeah.
problem is,
It is really funny, real quick, that there
Yeah.
are people who are like, no, this is super serious. I take this hobby so seriously.
With the little goggles.
Yeah. This is a serious game.
Exactly.
Part of me wants to grab my unpainted Gundam right now.
Yes. Exactly, it's like somebody who's actively playing D&D. Like, I just have no room to talk by any means. But yeah, they basically, there's I guess, one of the factions you can play as is the Custodes, and they introduced that females have always been a part of it, and there's in fact like a main female character in it. People got real mad about it, so fucking mad about it.
How
So
dare
that's-
women exist in my fictional universe?
It's how dare they retcon something, which to my understanding, based on the video I sent you and also just like what I've been reading, shit gets retconned all the fucking time. That is like
Right.
in honestly any part of nerddom, like they're always retconning. I don't know why now it's like, no, it's a problem. This
Yep.
really affects my gameplay. It doesn't.
It's just like,
Not at all.
I want this fictional universe to specifically to have no women whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
This is how I show off my masculinity, is never to be around women.
Yes.
But why won't they talk to me?
I'm a nice guy.
Crazy. Can't seem to figure it out. But yeah, this I don't know. This I feel like this is a fucking tale as old as time. This shit happens so fucking constantly and consistently in all facets of nerd culture, which is why women are largely not in it, or if we are, we're very quiet about it. I actually found it made me very sad. I found this Reddit post about a woman who actively plays Warhammer, and she was saying there's like 5 or 7 places in her town where she could play it. She feels safe at one of them.
Yeah.
And that's fucking heartbreaking, but it's just because she's been so berated and felt so unsafe, whether she's getting hit on or she's just like, people have just made her feel like an idiot for being there. That sucks. I don't understand
Yeah.
why this culture has to be like this all the fucking time, forever and a day. And it seems to like, I hate to say it, but I'm like, I feel like it's not changing, and I don't know why, because it's been so persistent forever.
It's always like there's like one step forward and then there's 2 steps back almost constantly when it comes to it. You know, we talked about it like months ago on the show where we talked about like comic book shops and like how like, you know, a lot of them are dying and there's less and less of those spaces, and like that's only going to help contribute, Brie, to like your problem where it's just like, if she's actually able to find a place where she's comfortable actually being able to engage with this activity, if that one place shuts down, like, where is she going to turn to? Because everybody's going to have to flock to the places where there is toxicity. When I was in Austin a few months ago, me and Emily went to a local comic shop, and there was just a group of really young kids playing D&D in the table in the middle of the comic book shop, and I was just like, that's super cool and awesome that these kids have this kind of space to do it and like they can be here. I was just like, I really hope somebody does not walk in and start giving these kids a hard time, because I will punch them personally.
Right, because they have this safe space to do something that they're all enjoying, and like, you know, the world's a scary, terrible place. So the fact that they find this little, you know, hovel where they can do something fun with their friends, where they're being safe and accepted, like, I want that for everybody all the time. Like, it makes me so sad that this is, again, that this has persisted so long and so prevalently in nerd culture. And again, I think it's in every facet. I think we talked about it on like the very first episode where like I stopped going to cons altogether because dudes were really fucking gross to me. And anytime I went to a comic book shop, in fact, I had the one instance where the comic book owner was talking about a specific series that I was reading and my partner was not, and he would not talk to me. He would not look at me. He was just talking to my partner about this series that my partner was like, oh, I haven't read it, but she has, and he would not talk to me. And it's just like, I'm like, it happens all the fucking time. And like, I want to say all this, but like, obviously I have a ton of privilege being a white woman. That like, I'm sure this is so much worse for so many other people, but it just breaks my heart that it's still happening.
Yep.
I remember when I was first going to cons, these signs didn't exist, but by a year, 2 years into me going to cons, everyone I went to had big signs up front that were like, cosplay is not consent, do not touch people, stay, like, hands to yourself, and just the fact that they needed those signs is real upsetting.
Yeah, and it's one of those things like, yeah, like you said, like the first like con you go to, it's all just seems like funny, but then like you start getting a little more involved in communities and you're constantly hearing about people getting harassed and everything else kind of like that, and just like, you know, like cons having to create like, you know, no photo corners of like the conventions where like people can just go and just like, cool, I don't have cameras pointing at me, and then people still showing up and taking photos in there.
Absolutely.
And it's just like it's like, dude, like respect boundaries. It's not hard.
It really
really
isn't.
fucking isn't.
Some people make it seem that way, though. I was at the grocery store the other night, and this gal was like right here while I'm looking at dog food.
I know some people shouldn't go out in public ever, honestly. This I did want to mention just one more small kind of sidebar to this, because I'm sure you've seen this floating around. This was a couple weeks ago, but I believe it's a female Twitch streamer that was I want to say she was playing. I don't know what game she was playing, to be honest. But one of the guys that was on the on their comms had like threatened to essay her, and it was like recorded live. And like he even said, he asked her if she had ever been R-worded before, and she said, "I'm sorry. What are you saying to me?" He's like, "Oh, because I'm going to." And I'm just like, I feel like gaming especially has probably been like the worst of it, because everyone is, you know, like the Xbox Live, like it's okay. I said it on Xbox
It's a
Live.
meme.
I can
Yes.
be anonymous, and therefore I can say whatever I want.
Correct.
You hop
Mhm.
you hop into a COD lobby, like you're gonna hear like somebody who clearly is not of any of these groups saying like the most obscene slurs possible.
Yes,
Yeah.
F words and N words just being thrown around.
absolutely.
And
Yeah.
the R slur as well.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
For Breath of the Wild, I went back and like watched some like old YouTube gaming content from the time to kind of put myself in that headspace. I forgot how okay we were with the R slur in like 2015.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. But I can't believe people still say it. I was like, that has been cool for like at least 20, 30 years. I would say.
Yeah.
I don't know why everyone reverts back in a fucking Xbox Live like COD lobby. I don't understand that part of the culture and why it persists. But I guess they seem to not care. I guess that's all there is to
I
it.
think it's pure anonymity and like stunted emotional growth. I really can't give any better explanation to it. And the thing is, it's just like there's only going to be more people who are younger coming in, and then they're being put into an environment where it's like, oh, it's okay for me to be doing this? Okay, I'm just going to start doing
Yes.
it.
Mhm.
And it just perpetuates. It just keeps going.
I don't know if either of you noticed this, but I've noticed it starting getting worse once the MAGA party started coming up and Trump was saying like all of the things he says, and that empowered a lot of these guys.
And if anybody tells you that they shouldn't be doing that, I was like, oh, you're just woke.
Yeah, 100%.
You got that woke mind virus, you soy boy cuck. No one says soy boy anymore.
But like there's those dog whistles where as soon as I hear somebody like use any of those in a conversation, it's like I've already stopped giving a shit about your opinion.
Dude, and some of them, I'll be like, I'll put on a video essay, and then all of a sudden be like, hold up. Nope, okay. That was weird, the way you phrased that. Okay.
Like, do you guys remember the TikTok audio that was like going around? It was like showing different pieces of media. It was just like, here are the things that I like, but I'm afraid to say that I like, and then here are the things that I don't like, but I don't want to tell people I don't like them because, and like all this thing, and basically it's just like that thing where it's just like, I like Rick and Morty. I don't want to say I like Rick and Morty because
Oh yeah, you don't want to tell anybody that.
Yeah.
No.
Like it's one of those things where it's just kind of like, yeah, like, you know, sometimes fans of certain things can be very toxic, and it's just like the toxicity to it is just like, okay, it's like, do you like this thing for the reasons that are good, or do you like it because you're one of those assholes?
Yeah, people still like Harry Potter for some reason. So
Yeah.
millennials.
I never got that. I actually have a deep hatred for Harry Potter.
I never got it either.
I have dated two separate people that were hyper into it, so I have been forced to learn way more about this universe than I ever cared to.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks. It's awful. Everything about it is bad.
Yeah, I think especially knowing what we know now about her, like I'm just like, I feel like even if you were a casual fan, which I would like label myself as like a very casual, I literally read the first, the third, and the fifth book, and that is it, because I thought the other ones were boring and I didn't want to deal with them, and I was like adjacent to it, like my friends kind of liked it. I saw most of the movies, I think, so
yeah.
Very casual fan. But yeah, after her being J.K. Rowling being a fucking nightmare of a person. I was like,
Just say
cool.
turf. We all know what you're
Yeah,
trying to say.
a fucking turf. Yeah, exactly. She fucking sucks. And I'm just like, you know what? Even my casualness, I'm not. If you're gonna buy merch, buy it from Etsy or something, friends. Like,
Yeah.
just don't keep supporting her. She has so much money.
She does.
Yeah, yeah, I said when a lot of the stuff first started happening and it was affecting, the ticket sales for the Fantastic Beasts series, I was just saying it's like she needs to pull a locus and just sell the IP. Because the people who still want to love it, but they don't want to support her. It's just like, now's the time to cash out.
It's although I think a lot of unfortunately I feel like there's just so many fans that still don't seem to like because when
they
the
don't
fucking
care.
video game like what is it Hogwarts Legacy when that came out a lot of people were still justifying when I was a kid I was like
Some
no
people
you're
either
supporting a fucking turf.
People either A, agree with her, which
Yep.
or B, they don't care.
100%.
Which is just as bad.
They have a trans friend that bought the game, so it's fine. So,
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. They're the same people that are like, my queer friend goes to Chick-fil-A, so I can eat there too.
Yeah, it's fine. It's like, or you could be a better person. White women, I'm looking at you. Especially.
Happy Pride Month, guys.
Yes, happy Pride.
Yeah.
Right.
So staying on Pride Month, who's gonna get Bud Lighted this year?
Bud Lighted? Oh.
Yeah, now you remember that controversy. There we go.
Yeah.
I was like, is that a new sex thing? What are the kids into?
Yeah. When you first said it, I thought you said butt lighted, and I was like, what, like one of those light
Tell me
up butt
more.
plugs? Like, probably me, if we're completely
Well, so you
honest
get
here.
you get the Wolverine popcorn bucket, and then
Yes. Let's go.
full circle.
Love it.
No, so like,
I'm
definitely
surprised that hasn't existed yet. The porn parody of Wolverine where he's got dildos for claws, like the Edward Scissorhands one where he has dildos for hands.
Rule 34, but it exists.
I would say that
does it?
absolutely
Probably.
exists. There's no way it doesn't.
Rule 34. It's not just relevant to felonies anymore.
Well, if it doesn't if it doesn't exist, I found an AI porn generator this week that I spent an hour breaking.
God damn it, Seth.
I was like, how old can I make this person?
Oh my god.
I'm deleting Seth's number right now.
How distorted can I make the body? Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Good job, friends. Happy Pride to everyone.
Yeah.
Happy Pride, especially to all my tiefling friends.
Yeah, well, you sent me that. Oh my god, that was fucking scathing.
My favorite is that you reposted it on Instagram. That's my favorite thing. I saw that.
Yeah, I was like, oh well, yeah, if you're rogue tiefling found family, and I was like, all three of those are my character.
As soon as I saw it, I was just like, and personally attack Brie. And
It was perfect. I was like, this was made. It was made for me specifically.
exactly, which is
bisexual.
which is why I sent it to you.
That was Thank you so much. That was hilarious. Yeah.
All right.
Happy Pride. Tieflings are for bisexuals. Thank you so much.
I mean, my most recent Baldur's Gate Warlock playthrough is a tiefling character, and I had the opportunity to hook up with Halls, and I was just like, yeah, why not?
Beautiful. We love it.
All right. So, anyways, that leads us now to our final homework assignment. And so, Brie, what do you got for us?
This is our last homework assignment?
No, sorry, last topic being
topic.
Brie's homework assignment.
Yes. I'm just
Like, I get
check
that I'm getting fired, but, like...
It's your last one. I was thinking I would pick, because it's one of those things I've never gotten to see, but Nimona on Netflix. It's another one that was, I believe, written by Andy Stevenson, who also did She-Ra. And I've heard very good things about it. It's a movie. It's on Netflix. I've heard nothing but good things, especially for representation of all sorts. So perfect for Pride Month. But yeah, I believe it's on Netflix. Nimona should be good.
Oh, Nimona. I spelled Nimona when I was little.
Yeah.
Oh.
Nimona.
Oh, thank you. I was spelling it Nemo. Duh.
Oh,
Interesting
yeah.
Cast. You
Yeah,
got Eugene
it's been on my list for
Levy,
forever,
You got Chloe
so.
Grace Moritz in there. Get RuPaul in there.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've heard good things. If y'all are down with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
I love
Movies are
video
always
games, but we
easy.
need a break from that just because it takes
Yeah.
way more time.
Yeah, no,
That does take a lot more time.
it does. All right, cool. Well,
Cool.
appreciate that, and look forward to next episode then. That's pretty much all we have left. I'm TCK Media on most things. You got that Seth23, who you can find him on the Tickies of Talkies. And then, of course, you have the raccoon herself, Brie. You can find her on Instagram and maybe
Stumbled
one
through
day
that
streaming
one.
again.
It's okay.
Brie, what's the status of your other podcast?
She's actually going to be sending me the recording of our first podcast sometime today. So once I have, she has my approval, she's going to post it. We do have a YouTube channel, Game Birds. I don't know. I will send you the link if she's going to send me the link. She hasn't yet, but soon it will be out places.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody, and we'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Woo.